Hello, and welcome to this Photoshop tutorial where I'm going to show you a little bit more about layers, particularly the layer features. In a previous tutorial, I showed you how we create layers and put things on layers, how we can move things on layers, and how we can delete layers. But there's other aspects of Photoshop that we can use as far as the layers are concerned. In this particular one, I'm going to show you how we can deal with the layer styles. Layer styles are a very powerful feature in Photoshop. We use layer styles to manipulate the pixels that are on the layers. So in this particular case, I've double-clicked on the layer to open up the layer styles. Sometimes it's referred to as the special effects of each layer. Right now I have the egg beater selected. This will usually show up a lot easier when we're not dealing with black and white graphics, but for simplicity's sake, we're just going to show you. So the most common one is a drop shadow, where I can select a drop shadow and then maneuver it so that it looks like it's almost like a cut piece of paper. You can adjust the size and the spread, the softness of the shadow. And we got to be careful when you're using some of these features, because if you use too many of them on a layer, it starts making the object or graphic or photograph a little too busy, and it looks a little too obvious that was done in Photoshop. I see a lot of times students, when they discover these features, when they set their shadows, for example, they set them so large that it almost looks like a glow and not a realistic shadow. When dealing with any kind of effects, particularly the layer styles, always remember, less is more. To turn off a layer, you just uncheck the box and then the layer is turned off. There are a variety of different ones that we can use on here, and I'm not going to go through all of them and suggest that you explore them. But to show you another, we have the stroke feature that will put a stroke around anything that's on the layer. You'll see in this instance you might see these little dots. That means there's pixels there that should probably be erased. If I want to change the color of the stroke, I just click on the color swatch and then I can pick whatever color that I want. I can also position it to wherever I want to put the stroke. If I want to change it again, I click on the swatch and just choose the color that I want it to be. And I can turn it off by simply unchecking it. We're going to leave this on for a second so I can show you another feature of the layer styles. When you're done, you can click OK. And you'll notice that it adds to your layer to let you know that some effects, particularly a stroke, has been done. When I don't want to see a layer, if I click on the eyeball next to it, it will hide everything that's on that layer. It doesn't throw it away, it just hides it from view so that you can see things underneath it. The same thing applies to the effects. If I want to turn the effects off for a moment, I just click on the eyeball and it'll turn off the effects. It doesn't throw them away, it just turns them off so that you can see things underneath. To turn them back on, you just click the eyeball and it comes back. If you decide that you don't like to see these listing, if you just click your arrow here on the other side of your layers by the FX, it will hide. Again, it hides, it doesn't get rid of it. You click on the arrow and they show back up. As I was showing before, if you double click on the layer, if you uncheck it, it will turn it off. So if I uncheck it and hit OK, the effect is still there, I've just hidden it. If you want to get rid of it completely, just click on the effects and drag them to the trash can. And then it deletes your effects. This is how we use the layer styles features in Photoshop.